Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So OCG Metagame Breakdown for, what is it, early January, late December 2023/2024. So, again, a couple of weeks ago, but again, the OCG got their new ban list. You see here on the right side, right corner, most notable cards being Heavy Storm back to 1, couple of Floodgates being hit, Change of Heart to 2, Engage back to 3. That's basically it. King Calamity being hit, kinda hits, synchro.attack, so that's kind of a big hit, but it wasn't really one of the best decks in the OCG. So, without further ado, Legacy of Destruction is legal, was legal past weekend, but before we go into those new deck lists, again, very intriguing because, Lightsworn, the best suit dragon, I believe they are called, Vacay, again, all of those new archetypes that we've, have been testing past weeks, they are now legal in the OCG, and they do stuff. Thing is that, okay, let's take a look at Road to the King's analysis first, very shortly, because this is pre-Legacy of Destruction, right? Very quickly, again, to get a glimpse of the current OCG format, and then see how much of an impact eventually the other decks have, or, what the people are playing early or first weekend with the new set. This is no surprise, because as you saw on the most recent OCG Forbidden and Limited list from January 1st, Fire King was basically the deck that got unhindered, same for Voiceless Voice, and of course Branded, right? But Fire King, not saying it's tier 0, but we are going towards that path, simply because the deck has so many one-card starters, multiple interruptions during your opponent's turn, it's super resilient to hand traps, so it's very close. Not yet. Maybe the new cards are going to change that. We'll see. We'll see within the next couple of weeks. But other than that, Branded Voiceless Voice. So the first decklist, I guess, featured on Word of the King. Seems like a very standard Fire King decklist. The most notable card here, as he mentions, is both Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike. And the side deck, main deck, side deck maybe, probably. Because again, it hits those snake eyes, it hits them upon normal summon, upon effect, it negates evenly matched, looking at Solemn Judgment. So these cards actually might make a comeback in the format, and I'm looking at, one of the most powerful traps in the game, Solemn Strike, the Solemn Brigade. That's basically it. The second decklist being featured here is Branded, and the reason being is that if you don't want to play Fire King, there aren't, as you saw in the pie chart, there aren't really too many options to go for, because again, Fire King is the best deck, Fire King Snake Eyes is the best deck. So people resorting to Branded variants, again, as we've mentioned or saw in the past, but people are resorting to Floodgates and locking your opponent out of the duel, so it must be nice. It's either Fire King and the combo that deck has, play through hand traps, or you have, like for example, Branded here featuring the Nightmare Puppet, Puppet Lock or Edo Lock, locking your opponent and preventing them from playing in the game. Must be nice. That's a current format over there, so no surprises for this particular decklist, bar that the deck is, resorting to Floodgates. It is what it is. Another contender, and that's one of the new decks here in the TCG as well, is Voiceless Voice. A deck quite weak to draw depending on which engine I guess you're running, either the Nadir package, Dogmatica package, or the Trias, the Trias Hierarchia engine, which kind of dodges through or plays through draw, but the thing is that people again are playing Veilers, Imperms, and that takes a huge, is an instant out for, what is it, the new name, Low, I believe the name is, the smaller Herald, right, for Voiceless Voice, again, summonable off of level 2 Herald. If that gets stopped, you need Soravis, but it's only a 2-off. That's the deal. It's a good deck, but it gets stopped by a couple of hand traps quite easily. But again, eager to see how this deck is going to develop with the new support from, other decks, other engines, looking at the next set. So that's it for Road to the King. Again, quite easily, because again, this is pre-Legacy of Destruction. So, post-Legacy of Destruction, let's see some deck lists. A couple of tournaments and, some deck lists that caught my attention. The first one, again, no surprise, Fire King Snake Eyes, still the best deck. Well, it got some tools, new Snake Eyes support, Diable Star support, But this particular version is very similar to the version we saw before, maybe more Snake Eyes. I'm looking at the spells, and I forgot the name of the purple Snake Eyes, the one that reborns from graveyard, if I'm not mistaken. I guess it gives the deck more tools to special summon Big Boy from the deck, the big Snake Eyes boss monster. But other than that, no surprises. We see Floodgates being, side-decked, looking at anti-spell Again, strong. Triple Nip as well in the main deck. Now, let's see. Legacy of Destruction. I'm excited for this one. Yubel. I saw that Yubel is very promising. And again, through testing, they recently, a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, that they got their last support, I think, being the field spell. And is it the level 1, I think, that has that graveyard effect. So it's actually quite nice. And I think this is almost very similar to the list that I was using before. Small addition, and that's something that I haven't tried out yet in the past, is the addition of Unchained Engine to the deck. So that works out quite nicely. We see triple nip and only double our 2 super poly. And quite noticeably as well is they recently, was it last week, they also got a new generic rank 10 exceed. So that's again something to note. But I think the biggest weakness of Yubel is the fact that their field spell is not searchable. That's a small downside. That's a huge downside, but still, it has potential. Yubel, it sounds so strange, but Yubel has potential. The next one I feel is again no surprise. Another deck that has potential, still has potential, but is it at full force? It's Cytex Kaiser Colosseum. Why is that card still legal? But it has so many 1-card starters, triple circle, and then all of the seller, like Gazelle 3. It's at full power, it's a full force. But again, not a meta contender, because Fire King Snake Eyes is much better, the much better fire deck. But, I mean, it's pretty much at full force. Horse Prince in the extra deck is notable. But, I mean, oh yeah, people are main decking Nips in the main decks, and that's Selring Great's favorite end board. Another one of the newer decks is Raika. Raika has a couple of potential hybrids with Beasts, Tri-Brigades. It kind of reminds me of Tri-Brigades in some way of cheating out links. Another potential way is to combine them with plants as well, with Rika. Looking at the extra deck, I tried out with some extra deck like the Plant Engine, again a couple of weeks ago with Raika and plants. It has potential, but I'm not so sure about the deck. It's missing something. Maybe more support in the future, but it's also one of those decks that has potential, simply on potential locks, etc. and negations that the deck can end on. So keep an eye out for Raika. The next one. I think this is a deck with, I was about to say the biggest potential, but again, Fire King Snake Eyes is still there. But the new Lightsworn cards, but with the new Judgment Dragon as well. But this particular player is first place, by the way. Respect Yugioh, if I'm not mistaken. This should be his list. Fairy Tale Snow is still legal. But as we've tested some time ago, the new Lightsworn cards are actually fantastic. Lightsworn Archfiend, the new dragon, which he's not running, no, he's only running the Archfiend, one that sends 1 card from your hand back to the top of the deck, like a wolf, and then mill 2. So that's fantastic. Imagine that support when Lightsworn was one of the best decks. Mind-blowing. And also the new level 8 synchro that gives control to milling to the deck. Yes. Triple bonfire. Yeah, must be nice. So keep an eye out for Lightsworn and feature tier still. He went 4-0 if I'm not mistaken, first place. So intriguing, this list, I like it. Another archetype that I'm looking forward to, as we've seen multiple decklists running Nip, is Besto Dragon. I'm not so sure if it got a new name. I don't think so. Those smaller dragons that have the capability to play during the battle phase, so they kind of dodge Nip in that way. Plus, they, synchro up, attack, and eventually go for Trident Dragon, pop, and then, attack. It does so much damage during the battle phase. We've tested that archetype some time ago. It has potential, because again, it plays during the battle phase. It's it can kind of dodge Nibiru in that way, but there are maybe a bit too many choke points for this particular deck, and maybe weak to hand traps as well, bar Nip, of course. But it has potential. I like the archetype. So last but not least, this deck actually we've tested, what was it, yesterday I think? Yeah, yesterday. Chimera, right? Again, no surprises. Pure, again, Nips in the main deck, but they also got new support. A new Illusion Magician, the level 6, very similar to Apprentice Illusion Magician. Discard 1 card, summon itself, level 6, to search any illusion monster from the deck. And I'm looking at the card left side to Ash Blossom. level 8, right? If I'm not mistaken, it can easily be special summoned to your field if you have like a Snake Eyes in your graveyard, for example. But it prevents your opponent from activating spells and traps directly. They need to be set first. So it's basically like an anti-spell 2.0, but not the same because normal spells can still be set. And if your opponent does not have a response, you can activate them. Sure, it has that Scrap Dragon pop effect, but that's only once. But obviously, you're capitalizing on the fact if you're going first, put dial bills on the field to level 8. It forces your opponent from setting cards, and then, Garden Chimera wipes the entire board. So again, something to keep an eye out for. This one, intriguing again. So that's it for now, but again, I'm looking forward to Legacy of Destruction, how much of an impact that's going to have on the OCG format within the next couple of weeks. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like. If you enjoyed the video, leave a shout out. Peace.